Welcome to London. Okay, we just made it to Heathrow Airport here in London.
Our final destination before Thanksgiving. We basically did this to kind of break up our journey back from India. We didn't want to go like 24 hours of travel back from Delhi all the way back to Atlanta, so we decided to break things up a bit, and we just decided to pick a city, and London spoke to us, so here we are. And I'm really excited because I've never been here before.
Yeah, we had a nice and easy but long 10.5-hour flight from Delhi.
Yeah.
It was not a full flight, so we were able to kind of go where we wanted to. We had a seat between ourselves in the middle section, so we had plenty of room, and it was nice.
We're just waiting for our luggage, and then we have to figure out the tube system so that we can get to our hotel, because taxis are really expensive here.
Or we suck it up and pay a taxi one time to get to our hotel and then move on with the rest of our day. Deep breath, deep breath. So after 2 hours of waiting for our Nina's bag, it wandered around the airport for a good hour and a half before it finally made it up to the belt, and we were able to retrieve it. So it was a long wait.
Yeah, I'm not too thrilled with the baggage handlers with a specific airline that we flew in on. I think that whatever happened was ridiculous, and apparently there were just a bunch of failures today. They didn't go into I can't say it, specifics. They didn't go into the details with us about, what was failing, what processes weren't working, but needless to say, there were a lot of people on their way from Delhi to London that were very frustrated waiting for their bags, and not being able to get answers was the biggest challenge of all. So I hugged my bag when I got it. I'm never letting it go again, and I'm just really grateful to have it back. And now we're finally on our way to our hotel, so we can hopefully get checked in and relax a little bit, because it's been a very, very long day. All right, so we have finally made it to London, and I am extremely excited. I've always wanted to come here. I've always wanted to visit the UK, and I'm really, really thrilled that we have finally made it here after all the stuff that it took for us to get here from India. Coming in to our living space, we have a nice couch, phone, area to sit and relax. There's also a small television here in the corner to watch if you are in the living room area. We even have this like little mini kitchen area, which is great. Again, with storage space. There are bowls and plates and, silverware and things like that. So if we were to run to the store and grab some things for ourselves to make and prepare here, we actually have everything we would need for that. Then in here, we have our bathroom. Big, pretty standard toilet, little sink space. Nice toiletries that they've left for us. All the stuff is kind of built into the wall over here, lotions and hand wash and stuff like that. And then coming around the corner, we actually have both a tub and a separate shower, which is really great. Again, we haven't used a single tub any place that we've been. Maybe we'll get a wild hair and decide to use this one, who knows? But I think it's great. And this shower is actually really cute too, and I love the fact that it's got this little step up. That's awesome. And then of course the toiletries in there, a little rainwater shower head and stuff like that. And then the bedroom area. So we were gonna have basically 2 twin beds. This has kind of upgraded us to a full-size bed with, our nightstands. Bed's pretty low to the ground, but it's cozy. It's very cozy. And then we have this nice big television to watch, some space to put our luggage, stack our luggage up over here and kind of get it out of the way. Another phone in here, nice little desk space in case Darren feels like using a desk to do any editing. And I think it's gonna be a great stay for us. I'm really, really, really happy to be here. And I can't wait to get some rest now. It's been a long day. Over the next 4 days, we're gonna be visiting some of the main attractions in London. We'll be taking a trip to the Tower of London, Tower Bridge, Westminster Abbey, my personal favorite, and a special trip over to Buckingham Palace to watch the changing of the guard. So join us for what promises to be a really exciting week here in London. St. James Palace and Clarence House. These are both the more permanent residences of royal members of the family. In fact, King Charles actually spends most of his time living inside Clarence House rather than at Buckingham Palace.
So I did some quick research, and the Clarence House was built between 1825 and 1827, and the St. James Palace started construction in 1531.
We've left St. James Palace and Clarence House. We are now walking up the mall towards Buckingham Palace to watch the changing of the guard. This happens multiple times during the week. Currently it's being held at 10:45 in the morning. It is a Friday, so it is being held today, and we're trying to get there a little early so we can get some good seats to watch everything, because I have never seen this before and I'm really excited.
Okay, so we just finished up with the changing at the guard at Buckingham Palace, and now we're off to find a pub for some warm beverages and hot food because we're frozen.
I'm so cold, my hands, I can barely even move my fingers to manipulate my phone. It is so chilly out here, comparatively speaking, especially since we just came from like 95-degree weather in India.
Yeah, we expected it to be about 45 minutes. It lasted
basically an hour.
Yeah, just over an hour. Then we sat around for another half an hour taking photos and video or whatever, and now we're paying for it.
It was fun though. It's totally something worth seeing when you come here. I think it's just kind of one of those like iconic things that you think of when you think of London. So I would highly recommend it. Just make sure you pay attention to the days that it happens, timetables, and get there a little early so you can get a good spot.
Yeah, get there way early. We were 30 minutes and it was already packed.
It's really busy.
They say some of the best vantage points are Queen Victoria Monument, which was nice because we're in an elevated area by the steps. But if you really want to get there really early, maybe an hour plus to get up towards the gate.
Come on!
Okay, so we just finished with a nice, relaxing lunch at the Old Shade Pub. I had some traditional fish and chips, and Nina had a lovely little salad.
That's right, with mushrooms and wild rice and broccolini, and it was delicious. Still on the vegetarian kick.
And now we're going to make our way back to the hotel, but first we're going to go do some magic.
That's right. Swish and flick. The biggest Harry Potter nerds on the planet. I'm not afraid to admit it. And of course you cannot come to London and not go in a Harry Potter store.
And it wasn't just Harry Potter, it was, you know, Lord of the Rings,
Peaky Blinders,
Stranger
which we
Things,
also love.
some Star Wars stuff, but it had a lot of Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah,
for sure.
It was primarily Harry Potter stuff, but then they actually had like all these other different things. They had Friends stuff in there. So that was fun. And now we get to make our way back to our hotel. Oh cool, look at that.
That's fun.
That's fun right there, yeah.
The good news is I can see what once was called Big Ben.
So we know we're getting close to where we need to be.
So we're not far.
Yeah. Oh cool, little cafe.
So we just walked into Westminster Abbey, and just by coincidence this weekend is the UK's version of the Memorial Weekend for the United States, but it's their Remembrance Weekend. And here at the Abbey they have crosses for all the soldiers or personnel lost in different campaigns throughout the history of the UK, and they've done a very nice display showing all the campaigns and how many were lost at each campaign.
Yeah, this is really beautiful.
Okay, so we just finished up about 2.5 hours of our touring of the Abbey, a self-guided tour with a little
Audio guide.
Audio guide.
Which is complimentary with your ticket into Westminster Abbey.
Yeah, I just gotta say, wow. I mean, there's over 3,300 people buried in the Abbey, and from poets to actors to every king and queen you can think of. It's amazing.
It is so cool. I don't think that I understood the magnitude of what I would see in there. First of all, I love poetry, so Poets Corner was absolutely a favorite section of mine, but just it gave me the vibes that I had when I was at Santa Maria de Croce in Florence. Very similar concept. There are so many people buried there. It's actually overwhelming. In fact, one of the most famous scientists of all time, Sir Isaac Newton, is buried in there, and his tomb was absolutely stunning.
Yeah, the famous poet Geoffrey Chaucer, who died in 1400, is here.
Yeah, Bronte sisters, Jane Austen, Charles Dickens, Rudyard Kipling, the list goes on and on and on. So whether you're into history, you're into poetry, you're into art, doesn't matter. There's literally a little bit of something for everybody in there. Absolutely worth going into. You know, Westminster Abbey, I told Darren, was my favorite building in London before going inside. I just love the outside of it. I think it's stunning. The inside just takes your breath away. It's so, so beautiful. And again, the history that's in there, all the coronations of all the kings of England in there as well. We saw the coronation chair,
which was made in 1296. It is the original chair, and it looks it.
Yeah, it is
it's spectacular.
Unbelievable. So, I mean, I am so thrilled that we were able to have that experience. And if you're coming to London, if you're into any of the stuff that we just mentioned, definitely make a plan to go into Westminster Abbey.
Okay, so now the real adventure begins. We try to figure out how to use the tube.
Yep, it'll be a first. We were going to do this, of course, coming from the airport down here to where we're staying, but we just took the cab that day, so now we got to figure out if we can actually get to the Tower of London from where we are right now.
Okay, success. We made it. We got a little bit of assistance to tell us how to work this system, and it was really easy.
Yeah, it was very easy. It was very affordable and fast. So highly recommend the tube when you're here in London and not spending tons and tons of money on cab rides.
Yeah. And we are officially just outside the Tower of London. Okay, so we're having lunch. I'm whispering because we're in a church. So we're having lunch at a Byward kitchen and bar right next door. I don't know if you hear that rumbling. That's the subway underneath us. Anyway, we're having lunch and we go out and go to the restroom. We look up and we see this. I see this door. And it brings us into this church, and this is the oldest church in the city of London. It was built in 675 AD.
It sustained significant damage during the Blitz, during World War II, so a lot of stuff that was in here did get destroyed, but there are several pieces that remain that were originally part of the church, dating all the way back to
the Crusades,
which is pretty remarkable. It's really amazing. So there are some memorial brasses that are inlaid here, and they're dating back to the 13 to 1600s. It's really amazing.
Okay, so after lunch, this is one of our last destinations of the day. We're about to visit the Tower of London and hopefully the Crown Jewels.
We're definitely going to see the Crown Jewels. You probably won't see it because we can't film the Crown Jewels for obvious reasons. It definitely, you know, entices possible thieves to look for weaknesses and security. So for very obvious reasons, we can't film that part. But I can't wait to see it because I've always wanted to. It's going to be spectacular.
Yep, time to go through the drawbridge.
Yay!
So the middle tower that we just came through, went through some security. That section was built in 1280 AD. Very old. From this vantage point, we can still see Tower Bridge, which we're going to walk across a little later on our way back to the hotel. And we can see parts of the Navy ship, the HMS Belfast, out in the Thames. Called an audible, and now we're taking the water taxi from the Tower of London down to the Eye. The Eye?
The Eye. We're going back to London Eye. We decided rather than taking the train or walking, which was our original plan, but it's getting dark now, that we would do an Uber boat down the Thames back over to where we're staying. So at least we'll get a little ride along the Thames, which I think will be really nice, especially now at night. And we should get to see London Bridge too. We should cross right underneath it. I'm excited about that.
So we finished up our afternoon at the Tower of London and the Crown Jewels. Like we said earlier, we couldn't film the Crown Jewels, but man, they are impressive.
Very impressive. We weren't really sure what to expect because we kept seeing like the molds of crowns and like the jewels have been replaced with other things. We're like, what's happening here? But everything is kept in a very, very secure spot, kind of towards the end of the exhibition, in an area that they can close this massive safe door to protect everything, which totally makes sense considering what's being stored there.
Yeah, and you get on this escalator, well, not an escalator, but a moving sidewalk, if you will, to see the jewels, and then you can get back off and go around and see the other side, so you can see both front and back of the different types of jewels, or the orb, or the scepter.
Oh, that's really cool.
And they are, wow.
And not just the jewels themselves, but all of the things that they saved from coronation ceremonies and things like that that have been around for hundreds of years. Really very, very impressive, and really glad that's something that we got to see. But in addition to the crown jewels, we went into the White Tower, which is where the armory basically is?
Yeah, all the weapons displays, all the armor from centuries ago, and one piece of armor that we filmed I think holds the Guinness Book of World Records for the largest piece of armor.
It does, yeah. The thing was huge. It was so cool. But also a whole bunch of armor from Henry VIII's reign, and it was again, one of those areas I'm really glad we made it into. We weren't really sure if we were going to go in because we were kind of running low on time. Really glad we made that stop in there.
And it is one of the oldest buildings. It was one of the first buildings after the walls were built. What was the year? It was
like 1080.
1080 when it was built. And
so old.
yeah.
So yeah, really, really cool experience. I've always wanted to see Tower of London. It was really nice too when we were coming out. The Tower Bridge was all lit up at night. It was really, really beautiful.
Yeah, and we're crossing this this footbridge to get on our side of the river. On the London Eye is just off to our side here.
And it's all lit up.
And it's all lit up, so we'll get some video of that here in a minute when we get closer.